Howdy, folks. Spencer here, and today I want to talk to you about the latest batch of news for STO on both PC and console. As always, chapters are going to be listed down below for those of you that want to skip ahead. The first thing I want to talk about today are the upcoming changes for the 10 forward streams and communication between the developers and the player base. So, for those of you not aware, the community manager for STO and Champions Online, Ambassador Kale, was recently promoted up to a position of senior community manager at Cryptic Studios. And with this promotion, which I congratulate him on, that's more money for him and his family, and it's good for him professionally. But with this change, he is now also going to be the community manager for Neverwinter. And this leaves me wondering, how communication between the STO player base and the devs is going to be moving forward. In the blog, he says that there's still going to be feedback being sent to the devs and all that. And he also says that with this change, what he's going to do is he's going to alternate which game is being covered on the weekly streams. So rather than have a Neverwinter and STO stream each week, it's going to move to every other week. So one week will be Neverwinter, the next will be STO, and back and forth. And for the stream change, I'm perfectly fine with this. A lot of the Q&A streams he did where he didn't have a dev on, he wasn't able to give the type of answers that people were looking for. So hopefully with there being fewer streams, hopefully they can have a dev on to give us more informative answers moving forward. Now, where this does concern me is the communication between the player base and the developers. And even with their internal communication, we have seen recently that they have had some slip ups and failures with their internal communication. Most recently, the Gorn Hunter and Strange New Worlds Lockbox blog. There was quite a few issues in their internal communication for that. And also, the recent changes to the exchange. Their internal communication is at a point where the executive producer for the game responded to the changes after they had been pushed live, saying, "What do you mean players have to go to a mailbox to pick up their items? Is this 2002?" And the following day, they made it so you could access your mail and claim it anywhere. So there's been some internal communication issues for a while, and I don't feel like the external communication between the player base and the devs has been that great, to be honest. I don't even know if they're aware of the negative feedback that these exchange changes have had. I talked a bit about this last week, and there were a few of you defending it. Some of you said that I was lazy for not wanting to deal with the extra clicks. But again, I feel like I need to remind people that this is a game, and when they make changes like this that have a significant impact, they need to be made aware of them. And I don't even know if that feedback is getting back to the developers. And if Kale's got so much more on his workload now that he's handling all three of their products, my confidence in player to dev communication improving is pretty slim. I just, I have a lot of doubts here. And, again, I wish Kale the best in his role. I wish him the best. But as a customer and seeing how the communication was before this, I do have some doubts. Heading over to the console side of things, you guys have a Key, Lobi, and Dilithium sale currently active, and these will be active until May 22nd. So you have 15% off on keys with the return of the Master Keyring Bundle. You have 20% off all Lobi items, and you have 20% off everything in the Dilithium store, with the exception of Phoenix packs, along with the return of all of the Dilithium Vanity Shields. And for those of you that want to see what those Vanity Shields look like, I do have a video which will be linked in the description down below, going over all of those visuals. So, good set of sales there, and the reason they are doing, at least the Key and Lobi sale, is because you guys are getting the Texas class in the Infinity Lockbox. Actually, this was added on Tuesday, it looks like, on the 16th. So if you have an Infinity T6 box on you on console, you can now use it to get the Texas if you want. I didn't cover the Texas too much on the channel. I did a stats breakdown for it, but honestly, it was a fairly disappointing ship. The ship itself is comparable to the C-Store Sabre or the Fleet Da Vinci. It's not bad, but it's also not really lockbox tier in my opinion. The special thing about this ended up being the universal console, which can be used to have 100% uptime on universal designs if you are interested in that. It can do a decent amount of damage on a torp boat, but it's a very situational console because if you're too close to the target, as in like 5 kilometers, the console basically loses half of its damage. So it's a neat little thing to mess around with, at least the console and experimental weapon. But the ship itself is very hard to recommend if you're not interested in those pieces. So yeah, I don't think that ship is really relevant for the majority of you. And heading over to the PC side of things, we also have a Dilithium Vanity Shield event currently running on PC up through May 22nd. So if you've been waiting to pick up any of these Vanity Shields, now would be a good time to do so. If you miss this specific sale, just keep in mind that these Dilithium Vanity Shields do reappear a couple times throughout the year, so it's not that big of a deal if you miss it right now. And if you want to see the visuals for these, I'll again have a video linked in the description down below going over all of the different visuals for these Dilithium Vanity Shields. And over on PC, we also have a 35% legendary sale running up through the 22nd, along with a return of the 10th anniversary bundle. So if you have been waiting for the 10th bundle to reappear in the C store, it is going to be there up through May 22nd. And it is still expensive, it always is. It's almost 200 bucks, but a lot of people very highly praise this bundle, and I think that praise is justified. You're getting 10 of the most iconic ships from the franchise in their legendary form. You're getting all of the consoles and traits from all of the different ships. So I think for those of you that are really into these hero ships, it's a pretty good bundle to go after. It is expensive, but when you break it down, you're spending under 20 bucks a ship. So if you've been waiting for that, this would be a good time to pick it up. It will only be in the C store for the next 3.5 days. And if you miss this bundle in the C store during this sale, just know that it will return. They bring it out for a weekend a couple times throughout the year, and the next time it should be in the C store will probably be sometime around the end of the summer event, I would imagine. So if you miss it, don't worry, it'll be in the C store again in the future. And heading over to the PC patch notes for this week, the new Tholian Crystalline console from the new mission can now be used on all factions. The Gorn Hunter has had a couple of fixes here. It can now use the GHS prefix. The experimental weapon from it can now properly interact with the Starship trait. And the Starship trait has been fixed so that it can no longer apply stacks to yourself, which was a very interesting issue. They also went through and updated the visual on the new set shield from the Tholian set. This was giving you the visual of the Discovery rep shield, so that was an interesting copy and paste move there. They fixed the Admiralty card on the Excelsior 2 so that it now displays all of its attributes properly. They changed the text on the Majalan Staff, which is the new Lobby weapon, which I'll talk about more in a minute. And they fixed the Chronogami Displacer so that it will actually work with EPG skill. And from what I have heard, the Chronogami is probably going to be meta now for EPG builds. I think Game Freaks was saying it's going to be one of the top EPG consoles to run moving forward if the numbers remain. So if you have an EPG build, I sure hope you went through and played that first Contact Day event to get this console, because if you didn't, you're going to be waiting a very long time to have another opportunity to get it via the Muds or Phoenix stores. 1 to 2 years from now. And I want to talk about that Majalan Staff a bit more. Neok182 over on Reddit has a really good write up on it. And basically, it has been confirmed that the intended price for this new Lobi ground weapon is 200 Lobi, which is 4 times the price of what ground weapons usually are in the Lobi store. And basically, it's very similar performance wise to some of the other weapons that are in the Lobi store at a fraction of the price. So it's like Neok says here, it's basically a 1-to-1 copy damage wise of what the Trill Guardian staff does, which costs 50 Lobi in there. Uh, it just is really quite disappointing, and the fact that it's 200 Lobi is just ridiculous. I did end up grabbing it the first day just to mess around with briefly, and I very much regret spending 200 Lobi on it. It just is not worth it at all unless you just absolutely have to have this visual. So that would be a ground weapon to unfortunately avoid, because Cryptic decided to price it at 4 times what they normally charge for Lobi ground weapons. The last thing I want to take a look at today is this charity drive that is running from H2O Acidic. This is through Extra Life, and basically with the campaign they're running, if you donate at least $5 to their Extra Life charity drive, you'll be entered for a chance to win one of the various prizes you see up on screen now. So this could be a responder bundle, an elite services starter pack. You might even win the original series legendary bundle. And there's also a chance for you to win your choice of Star Trek merch from Volant Design. And they sell some actual like Star Trek inspired clothing pieces there, so it's pretty interesting. You just have to go in and make sure that you comment on the donation STO prize package, and then you can specify also like your platform and your @handle if you want to leave that contact information. I'll include a link to their Reddit post in the description down below if you want to check it out. It's very nice to see these charity drives pop up, and if you have $5 to chip in, I'd very much recommend you do so. There's a chance you may even get a nice prize out of it. But that is going to be it for this news video today. I know there hasn't really been too many videos this past week. I've just been really busy, but there is going to be some videos popping up as we wrap up the month here, so stay tuned. I know I have a couple other videos to get caught up on from last week, like a review of the Gorn ship, and I wanted to get a walkthrough done on the Leviathan TFO, but I might just shelve that project for now, especially given that TFO, even if I put out a guide, it just is going to suck in a pug environment. So yeah, I'll figure that out. But that's going to be it for this video today. Thank you all for tuning in, and see you guys around.